Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to the channel. This Saturday is UFC Vegas 50, and on the main card we have a very interesting lightweight fight between Drew Dober and Terrance McKinney, and this is going to be my full breakdown and prediction for this fight. I've already done a couple prediction videos for UFC Vegas 50, including the main event, Magomed Ankalaev versus Thiago Santos. If you guys want to check those out after this, I will link them down in the description as well as the end cards. But this wasn't the original lightweight fight we were supposed to get. We were supposed to get Drew Dober versus Ricky Glenn. Ricky Glenn had to pull out for whatever reason. Terrance McKinney just fought on the Islam Makhachev versus Bobby Green card and decided to step in on short notice and get his biggest step up in competition, in my opinion, against Drew Dober. So if you look at the tail of the tape for this fight, Drew Dober is 33, Terrance McKinney is 27, Dober is 5'8", McKinney's 5'10", Dober has a 70-inch reach and McKinney has a 74-inch reach. So if you look at Terrance McKinney, he originally tried to get into UFC off of Dana White's Contender Series. He was in a competitive fight with Sean Woodson. It's not a bad loss to have, but he eventually got caught in the second round by a flying knee and brutally KO'd. Then he went on to lose a fight to Derek Minner before eventually winning 3 fights in a row and getting an opportunity in the UFC, and he fought Matt Frivola back at UFC 263. This was the Adesanya Vettori 2 card. And in this fight, there's not much to analyze. He comes out, lands a perfect 1-2 on Matt Frivola and just puts him away. 7-second KO. Absolutely incredible. And then he was supposed to fight Fair Ziem at the end of last year. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, that fight got canceled. I think McKinney had to pull out of that fight. I don't remember for 100% certainty. And they finally rebooked it for February of this year. It was just on the Islam Bobby Green card. He fought Fair Ziem and he submitted him via rear naked choke in the first round. There was like a striking exchange as soon as the fight started. They ended up in a scramble. Terrance McKinney just ended up on top, dominating him and eventually locking in the rear naked choke. And now he's turning around, 2 weeks later to fight Drew Dober, who is the stiffest competition he's ever faced, which is just insane to me. There's not a lot of tape to watch on Terrance McKinney. There's not a lot that you can find on him, but he's looked super impressive in his 2 UFC fights that he's had. You look at Drew Dober. Drew Dober has been around forever. He's actually been in the UFC since 2013, which is just insane to me. He's traded wins and losses. He's never been the elite of the elite. He won 3 fights in a row back around 2019, 2020, and then he ran into Islam Makhachev at UFC 259 March of last year, and Islam Makhachev basically took him down, controlled him. He wasn't easy to submit. He was not easy to submit in this fight. Eventually took Islam Makhachev all the way to the 3rd round before Makhachev locks up an arm triangle and submits him. Then his next fight and his most recent fight was at UFC 263 as well against Brad Riddell. And this fight was a back and forth, one of the best fights of the year in my opinion, underrated fight. It could have went either way in my opinion, but Brad Riddell squeaks it out, probably with the little bit of grappling advantage he had. And so now Drew Dober's on a 2-fight losing streak, not in a great spot to be. He hasn't fought in a bit. It's been since all the way of June of 2021. So he's been out for quite a while, and now he's returning against this young up-and-coming guy in Terrance McKinney. This is a great fight. I feel like it's really 50-50. It's hard to pick this fight because you have a veteran in Drew Dober who's been around forever. He's fought some decent competition. He has a KO win over Nasrat Haqparast. He has a TKO win over Alexander Hernandez. And then you have Terrance McKinney, who's looked so good recently and hasn't lost since 2019, but hasn't fought the best competition. So really, you look at this fight, and I really think it could go either way. I think you could justify a pick, picking either guy to win this fight. But for me, I really think that this fight is going to be a hard-fought decision regardless of who wins. And I am going to go Terrance McKinney by decision. I just think he's younger, faster. I think he has good enough grappling. I worry a little bit about, his size. He looks like kind of a smaller lightweight. I think he used to fight at featherweight. But he just looks kind of undersized for the weight division. Drew Dober has a nasty chin. I think he's only ever been KO'd 1 time. I don't think Terrance McKinney's going to KO him, but that's a possibility. But also, Drew Dober has some nasty power too. He could clip Terrance McKinney and put him out. McKinney's been KO'd before in the Sean Woodson fight. But I just really think this is a 50-50 fight. And I just think McKinney's youth plus his speed. He has good power. I think he's probably the better wrestler. In some of Drew Dober's losses, you just seen him being out-grappled. He was out-grappled by Islam Makhachev. I think he lost the Brad Riddell fight just because of the grappling disadvantages. Brad Riddell was able to take him down a few times and just control him on the ground. And we've seen Terrance McKinney is an excellent wrestler. He's an excellent scrambler. He has great submission skills. You look at Drew Dober, he's been submitted in his last few losses. Well, not the Brad Riddell fight. He was submitted by Islam Makhachev. He fought Beneil Dariush back in March of 2019, was submitted there. Back at UFC 206 in 2016, he was submitted by Olivier Mercier. So, he has some losses via submission, but I just don't think, you look at the guys that he's lost to, especially in the last two submission losses, Islam Makhachev, Beneil Dariush, not too bad losses to have. I don't know if Terrance McKinney has the submission ability of Islam Makhachev, so that's why I just think this is going to be a very close, tough fight. I think it's going to be back and forth. I think Drew Dober's going to land some shots. I think McKinney's going to land some shots on the feet as well. And I think Terrance McKinney, with the grappling advantage, I think that's how he's going to squeak out this win. I'm going to say Terrance McKinney 29-28. But honestly, I'm not super confident in that at all. This is Terrance McKinney's biggest test that he's ever had in MMA. Drew Dober is not an easy fight by any means. And also, it's short notice. And I know it's short notice for Terrance McKinney, but he's kind of, he's definitely in shape. He just fought on the 26th of February. But, also, it's Drew Dober. For Drew Dober, it's short notice as well, just because, he wasn't fighting necessarily this style matchup. He has to completely change his game plan a little bit to fight a totally different guy in Terrance McKinney. And, there's a lot of variables in this fight. You have Terrance McKinney, just a younger guy. I think he has the faster hands. I think they probably have equal power. I'm curious about Terrance McKinney's stamina. Drew Dober can go 3 hard rounds. We saw that in the Brad Riddell fight, and I'm pretty sure we saw that in previous fights in the past. He wasn't even completely gassed in the Islam Makhachev fight that went 3 rounds as well. So I think this is going to be a very interesting fight. But I just think with the grappling, I think that Terrance McKinney is going to be able to edge out this fight and get the victory. I think he has the faster hands. I think he'll land the better shots. I'm a little bit worried about, his chin, just because Drew Dober does have some decent power. He could get clipped early, maybe slept, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think he's going to be in shape. I think he's going to be ready to go. It's not like he has a long layoff. Drew Dober's coming in off a bit of a long layoff, and I think Terrance McKinney's going to be in great shape. I think he's going to come out super confident. I mean, have you seen some of the interviews he's doing? He's talking about he's going to be champion in 2023. He's going to come in with great confidence, knowing this is a massive opportunity, because if you beat Drew Dober, you're starting to really creep towards that top 15, maybe another fight, a little bit of step up from Drew Dober if he's able to defeat him. And then next thing you know, Terrance McKinney is going to be in the top 15. So this is a massive test for him. I think he's going to come ready, and I think he's going to win by decision. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Don't forget to like the video, and thank you so much for watching.